How have you been growing your ability to think over the years, Simon?
Great question, Ha. So how I've grown my ability to think is by leaning into the fact that diversity is power. Now, here's what I mean by the statement, diversity is power. If you only look at your competitors, the truth is you can only be as good as your competitors. Now, for you to be innovative, for you to be creative, for you to be a true original, you've got to look outside of your industry. Look at other industries where people are doing really well. So when I built my environment, I was very intentional to have diversity built in. So I would spend time with a film director, I would spend time with a musician, I would spend time with a chef, I would spend time with a poet. And the reason I did that was because the more diverse my network, the more creative my imagination, and the more lessons I would gain from someone who is not necessarily connected to the industry that I work in. So that would feed my creativity, that would feed my idea on how to be original. So when I published the book Energize back in 2022, we did some incredible things purely because we had diversity built in to the network that helped me to think different. So we partnered with a hotel, and the bar in this hotel, which at the time was the best bar in the world, they created a cocktail, a special cocktail called Energize, named after my book. Oh. So for 4 weeks after publication, if you walked into the bar and you ordered the cocktail, it would be presented on a signed copy of my book. And then we partnered with a chef and we created a 6-course dinner menu in which each course was inspired by a message from my book. And then we did one of the world's first book launches in the metaverse, where you put on these virtual reality goggles and your avatar would be in this virtual conference room engaging with me as a speaker. And so all of these ideas of being able to think different in order to kind of still remain an eternal student came down to leaning into diverse inputs. The more diverse your inputs, the greater the probability for you to think different, for you to think in an original way, or for you simply to connect dots in a way that has never been connected before.
How have you been growing your ability to think?
Oh, goodness. So, I was mentioning health and fitness. I did some yoga this morning, and I like doing yoga. This particular teacher I watch on YouTube, he's always coming up with philosophies of life, and today it was about harmony and nature, and the poses that we were doing made me think a little bit differently as I'm going through my breathing and my discomfort. I read a lot, like this book here, The War of Art. Steven Pressfield, I don't know if you're familiar with this book. It's about resistance and things that hold you back. I built a relationship with Steven Pressfield. He's an amazing author. And I had lunch with him in Arizona. As a matter of fact, I could probably say, I could show a photo of me and Steve here. Actually, and Waldo, he's from California, and let me share with you here. Oh, here we are. Just want to show it to you here. So here's Steven Pressfield, right there, right? Yep. Yes. So you see him on the screen, and so he's the author of this book. He's an amazing, amazing author. But I was introduced to him through my friend Victoria Labam, another Hall of Fame speaker who's friends with him, and I have a great relationship with her, and she wound up connecting me with Steven Pressfield. The way you think differently is being exposed to different people, to different books, to different disciplines, yoga, transcendental meditation. I watch different shows. I get coaching from different types of speaker coaches who are very, very different from me. And so, we may have a palette of colors in our lives, 5 or 10 palettes or tools for that matter on solving problems. When you read a book, watch a podcast, build a new relationship, gain perspective from somebody in another culture like you in Vietnam, now you're exposing yourselves to different tools, different colors. And it allows you to solve more problems with tools and create more palettes or more canvases of beauty with all these different colors. And that's why I love meeting people. That's why I love traveling, because once again, you know, we were complete strangers before this phone call, but now we have a relationship, and you're going to share things with me about life and growth. Hopefully I could share with you, and that's how we grow, and that's how in my life I've learned to think differently. But the bottom line is this, and every one of you watching this or listening to this, there's no better teacher than ourselves. There's no better teacher than going through the grit and gristle of life to learn when we're getting shot at, overcoming our fears and anxieties, and thinking differently and asking for our maker, our creator, to give us hope and guidance as well, whatever you believe in. The biggest tool and teacher of life is ourselves. And so listen to your heart, and listen to your pains and the gifts of life. Listen to what's going on inside, and many times those answers and perspectives will come to you from the universe. And it may even show up with a new friend on a Zoom call.
Wow. Wow. The question is, Scott, over the years, how have you been improved your ability to think?
Let me think for a minute on that. I'm improving my ability right now just by thinking about it. You know, I think our thoughts, as we mature and we realize what our mission is in life, then our thinking hopefully becomes more strategic, but it's grounded in service for me. So I'm always looking to improve myself. You know, I've gone to 38 straight national conventions for the National Speakers Association. So I think professional development, and especially in today with the age of AI, you know, the game is changing, and we have to really be careful, because, you know, as you and I just talked about with this, like Suno.com was a great example. I mean, it makes it, you know, here I used to write a lot of songs and spend a lot of time. Now you can put in 200 words and you get your own song, and you don't have to really think about it anymore. You know, the calculator made us, we didn't have to do the flashcards. You know, you had a calculator. Now we have MapQuest or Waze around the world, right, where we don't have to really think about where we're going. So it's so important today to make sure that we're continually learning and to dive into our thought process. But I through professional development and really, you know, being an active listener. There's such a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing's a physical act, listening's a mental act, where to really actively listen, we listen to understand, and that you have to be a thinker in order to really be a good listener, because you have to interpret what the person is really saying, and what's the message behind what they're saying, or what's the intent.